Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my brother's keepers. I'm here with my brother Dante.
What's going on? Peace, brother.
Peace, brother. Doing what we do. We got a good topic here today. I think that'll really um, bring great interest to your hearts and your minds, and want to dig into it. I look forward to these things, my brother here, and being able to give these messages to you all. And I think again, it's going to be a blessing because we always give it to you, from a standpoint of spiritual, whatever it may be. It could be secular, whatever it is. We're going to deliver a message that's going to touch families, and I know that the message that we have today will be awesome. Also, we're actually streaming from YouTube as well and Facebook, and in the future, immediate future, we're going to be also within the TikTok community and Instagram. So I ask that you continue to follow as we embark on these topics. I think it'll be a blessing to each and every one of you all. Let's get ready to get to it, brother.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. Just attached to what he was saying is, the way we have to set up our TikTok and our Instagram stuff, we gotta preload those. So pretty much once this end, it's gonna be my job to where I am going to set it up to where I can move everything to Instagram and TikTok. So everybody that's on Instagram and TikTok, the stuff will be there. It just won't be there live. It'll be after everything is done because we got reload that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So today is gonna be a nice one. I felt like this was right on time due to the fact that in the circumstances we in these situations in life is really hard right now. The episode we're talking about is who can you count on? The reason why I say that is because I would say for me, that has been the biggest part of my life to where I can say I'll never be a man that would say, hey, I did this all on my own. You know what I'm saying? I made it. I did all this, so I know I did. It was a lot of important people in my life at the best times and the most critical times of my life. Like I explained to y'all on last episode, like my sergeant major and a bunch of close friends of mine, to where they were very key factors or putting me in the place to where I am the man that I am today. So always try to have them to you with my kids. It's very important to have resourceful people that you can really rely on that really has your back. So for you, my brother, I'm gonna give you this one first. The topic of the day is the first topic of the day is blood versus organic. If y'all want to know what I mean by blood organic, blood like your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins. Organic is the people outside of that blood realm. Your friends, your mentors, your advisors, strangers off the street, people that you're bumping into your day-to-day life when it comes to blood organic. For you, can someone unearned titles hinder a relationship? So can somebody with an unearned title hinder a relationship?
I think they can hinder a relationship and hinder it greatly. Oftentimes we don't use discretion enough when it comes to having people in our lives. We often just invite them in our lives because of scenarios or what we may run across in life for that day, for that week. We run across acquaintances, and sometimes people are not proven. People are not proven, and we see breakdowns a lot in relationships when it comes to people because we don't let them prove themselves. And this is something that we have to do when it comes to again the part of blood and organic. I pretty much had a mixture of both. Um, Bloodline, my mom, my dad, of course, always going to be there, for me no matter what, and always told me what's up. And I had individuals, a couple of my uncles that stepped in as well that said some things that needed to be said. But a very large contributor to that was my grandfather. My grandfather again was someone who was very much hardworking individual, and no matter what, he always made it plain, told it right, and if it cut you, it cut you. You need to be cut, and I think that's what really helped me build as a young man. Um, as far as titles, people, not earning those. I look at people nowadays that people can be fickle, and anytime they destined to change. I just believe that we have to stay the course with the things that we need to build ourselves in life. And sometimes that comes with, going through things on our own. And a lot of times we may be alone when we go through those things. But I can recall one gentleman. I think he may be on my Facebook even. Um, Sam Beckman, individual that not only cared for me, told me like it was in a latter age, to where I was still trying to find myself, and at the age of 19 and 20, and in some cases, I think it was life changing for me.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I I come along myself.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with that. For me, I grew up in a unique to some, common to others situation, to where I grew up under the household where it wasn't like it was my great grandmother. My grandmother passed away from lupus, so my great grandmother raised my mom, her brother, and her sisters, and me, because my mom had me at a young age. So I saw my grandmother like a mother, and I rarely saw my mom like a sister, because my mom was so young looking, to where like kids at my school, when their parents picking them up, I could see their parents like my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Like I never saw people picking up their kids that was any look of my mom. My mom was extremely young looking. Mm-hmm. So I always, even though I called her granny, in my eyes she was a mother. And my mom was a sister. We kind of, I always say, we kind of grew up together. Mm-hmm. So for me, the spectrum of like who I placed as like a brother and an uncle was kind of redefined for me, because I had a cousin that kind of groomed me, but I never called him my cousin. I called him my uncle. You know what I'm saying? I was calling him my Uncle Ken, but he was my cousin. But he called me his nephew. I was calling him my uncle, because the dynamic of him raising me and grooming me and showing me things, I didn't see him more of a cousin. I saw him more of a authority. And I have some like female cousins where I see them as my sister. I don't see them as a cousin. I saw them as a sister because the bond we have. So it was a lot of things where, like, we talk like unearned. It was certain titles I redefined for certain people based off of the dynamic that we had together. So when it comes to my brothers, and like they're my brothers, but I actually had other people like, my brother here, like they became my brothers. You know what I'm saying? So it never really, I growing up, like I said, I never really hindered the title of, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like if an uncle or a cousin of mine that, we didn't get along, but they called me about something, like I had no problems telling them no. Because we didn't have no relationship. All you just telling me your cousins, you know what I'm saying? Or that's my uncle, things like that. I had an uncle that he acted more like he was my nephew, and I was the uncle. Because I was doing so much for him and helping him so much, because he was in and out of jail, to where I never really saw him as an uncle. I saw him like a nephew because I had to track him like one, you know what I'm saying? So it's just because, they have my last name or my blood, or we look alike, they never got a pass from me based off of how, who birthed me. You ain't get no pass from there. But there was people that have had my back from day one, and I've had their back for day one, and they was there for me through bad times, and I was there for them through bad times. Those people, they get nothing but reliable. They get nothing but 100% from me. When I'm at 100%, because when I'm down, and they understand that. Just like I understand when they're down, they're down. But when we are 100%, you know, I got you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just very. The bottom line is a lot of. I hate to say this, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly males, we have no problems giving like our kids and our family members the no, and you just gonna have to come out here and figure it out. The mothers, the grandmothers, the great grandmothers, they take too much burden by helping the ones that don't get it right, and they don't get it right, and they don't get it right. Um, it looked like it's help, but it's not help. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you know what I'm saying, that's your grandson, your granddaughter, or you know what I'm saying, things like that, or your child. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, that's an adult that still gotta find their way. But it's like parents and grandparents, they normally have a hard time letting go because it's their child. But this is what I tell you, just like I used to tell my mom. I said like this: Yah is my father. You're just the liaison to him. You know what I'm saying? You are the liaison. You are the middle person to him. So at the end of the day, I got to answer to him first before I answer to you. It's like you got to answer to him as well. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, just like that child is yours, that child is also Yah, the Most High. So with the Most High, you notice He give us free will. You're supposed to do the same. But if you're not doing the same, then you're not practicing what you preach, and nor are you following the laws of the land of what the Most High has given us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if your child is getting in trouble and getting in trouble and getting in trouble, you gotta step back. You can't keep trying to dive in and intervene the inevitable, you know? So that's pretty much what I gotta say with that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be very, very cautious with this title stuff. It's hurting a lot of families.
It is. People haven't even earned it, but yet they are set above to be pinnacle of something. And a lot of them are living life, you know, any kind of way, haphazard, you know, and yet people are watching these individuals.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, they take advantage. They take advantage, man. A lot of people get taken advantage of because of that. The next one I'm going to give to you is called unconditional versus conditional. Is there any relationship dynamic that are unconditional? And the next one on that one would be, or is it necessary to have conditions?
A lot of people think that there should be no conditions, but I believe that there should be conditions. Because conditions, first of all, it again validates. It is using discretion. When you have people that come into relationships and standards are not set, I think it leaves you vulnerable. And therefore, when conditions are set, it's setting up a place of safety. You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
It's setting up a place of safety because it's letting people know that you are requiring something. I feel even with myself, even to get my time, I require something to even give you that. And if I'm not cautious with certain conditions or even letting you connect and network with me, you know, I'm being vulnerable.
Right.
I'm setting myself up for failure on down the road. And I think where I watch a lot of white people, how they network, how they move. A lot of them move in ways that they're not networking to where they're walking about it just so loosely to where it can cost them something. You know what I mean? Because it's not just their time how they move that's valuable. It's what they put into a subject or a matter.
Right.
You know that they deem is very important. We just connect with people.
Right.
And when we connect with people, we allow them in our life to sit and not realize some people are there just for a moment, and we have to let them go.
Right, I'm with you.
You know, but we'll try to keep people in our lives, and and what they were there for at the beginning was already done 2 years ago. You know, and therefore when they're making, you know, that moment where they're overstaying, damages begin to happen. You know, it's because their time was out 2 years ago,
Right.
but you wanted to keep them around because you feel like this person, and it takes discipline to know this. It takes discipline to know this. Just because you may like a person, it does not mean that they should just be around all the time.
Right.
You know, and the same vice versa. If it was me, it's not meant for me to be around them, you know, all the time or for that period of time. They got what they needed out of me, you know what I mean? And it's not using anyone. It's just the nature of the beast.
Right.
And we can't look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to move on in life.
I'm with you.
And start to elevate and gravitate to new levels. But a lot of times we're trying to bring people up to higher altitudes, and you're prepared to breathe in those altitudes, but they're not prepared to go there.
Right.
And therefore, you are moving up and bringing weight to where you can't even advance to the next stage of your life, and you wondering why. It's because you're tied, whether that's family members, friends, whatever it may be. You're tied to people that the purpose of them being in your life was there for that moment, and it is already gone.
Right.
You know, so there should be conditions.
Right.
You know, there. I believe there should be conditions more so than no conditions.
Right.
Because I mean, I look at that across the board for family members,
Right.
for friends, whatever it is.
Right.
It's not meant for me to tie to you and walk the path that I'm trying to walk, knowing that you're not prepared for it.
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. Hey, let me tell you something. One of my old mentors, I'm gonna summarize what you just explained.
Mm-hmm.
One of my old mentors used to call that ice cream season.
Mm-hmm.
The ice cream seasons are, for every season there's a different flavor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So in the summertime you might like vanilla. In the wintertime you may like chocolate. So what he used to always tell me is, you gotta understand, you gotta use your common sense and your common knowledge to be able to know how and when people need to be in place in different phases of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm in the hunting of a house in that season, I need to have people that are very knowledgeable about houses in my life during that realm of my life.
Right.
I need to know people that build houses for a living. I need to know a lot of real estate people. I need to get a good relationship with brokers, real estate brokers. Mm-hmm. I need to start building my network and my relationships based off of that realm of my life.
Right.
If I want to get my credit up, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start educating and networking and making friendships with people that got good credit, people that works for the credit bureaus and stuff like that. I am going to network and place those valuable people. And if I gain a good mutual relationship with that person, I can attach that person as a friend as well through that journey. Mm-hmm. But if I met 10 of them, maybe one I might keep around for year round, but 9 of them might go. You know what I'm saying? But they're needed for that season. So like I said, man, he used to call it, like I said, the ice cream season, man. And it's always made me laugh because he used to always integrate those kind of things that they so simple, but when he broke it down, it was much deeper.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you gotta understand. You're gonna meet a lot of good and a lot of bad people, and understand every phase of your life is gonna be a total different chapter, and everybody's not gonna be in the next chapter of your story.
Right. Exactly right.
And they may come back later on in another chapter. You know what I'm saying? Because some people, you may not hear for a while, and then y'all might bump up and hash it up again. But everybody's just not going to be in your life. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because you got 24 hours of the day. Time go by really fast. You know what I'm saying? So you can't keep in know of everybody's life, especially if you're in 100% in your life. It's just impossible. It's impossible.
Right.
To answer that question though, man, I think there's only one dynamic that can be unconditional, and it's the birth of your child in the span of when they're born to toddler phase. You know what I'm saying? That's probably because you allow them to do whatever they want, however they want, and you says you just gonna be there. You gonna be there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They can spit on your face, they can pee on you, they can do, and guess what? You just gonna be there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's probably I take that back. When the person that probably has raised you or been in your life, when they get to a elder state of their life to where they can't fend for themselves, those situations too, you will move unconditionally. You will definitely move unconditionally. You'll take off work when you don't have no business taking off. You go answer phone calls in front of your boss and don't care. You know what I'm saying? You gonna do all that because I did it. You know what I'm saying? When it came to my granddad, I didn't care. Right. But yeah, I say those probably the only two dynamics that will make a person say, you know what I'm saying, I'll throw it all. Right. Everything in between, everything else between got conditions. Right. It's definitely necessary. The reason why, because what we talked about previous episode, self-preservation. A person is always natural state at the end of the day, when things get rocky and life get threatening or it's come to survival mode, person is always going to rely on self-preservation. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very important to understand that when you're dealing with somebody, that if you are a unselfish person, you best believe that person on that side understand selfishness. Right. And you better learn selfishness as well, because one person is going to be the sheep and one person is going to be the wolf in that situation. Mm-hmm. So it can be a tricky dynamic. So it's always very telling to recognize who you're dealing with and how you deal with somebody when it comes to their boundaries of what you can and can't tolerate, and evaluate the person too with how they interact with other people. Right. And I've always told people that watch how somebody interact and move with somebody else, and see how they're going to reflect their energy onto you. Because understand, if they're stabbing that person in the back, best believe they're stabbing you in the back as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always... Or they will. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I always ride with the person that will go down with the ship. I ride with that person because, you know what I'm saying? I think I told him that story too. You know, there's a couple of people I had to, cut off because it was like they used to try to be in the middle. They'll be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to pick this side or I ain't going to pick that side. I'm just going to stay in the middle. Right. Well, guess what? You stay in the middle. You stay there. Right. You stay there. You know what I'm saying? You stay right there. I'm going to go that direction, but you stay right there. Right. You know what I'm saying? So the next one is going to be resolve or remove. I actually like this one. Resolve or remove. When is it necessary to develop resolution? And when is it time to remove people out your life? You know, I'm gonna go from this standpoint here. We've been taught throughout our lives, and I say this, and I say a weaponized form of Christianity, to forgive everybody, no matter what. Mm-hmm. Turn the other cheek, and throughout my time later in studies, I understand what forgive is, don't forget, and I understand what turn the other cheek is, but that don't mean keep getting slapped in the face. Correct. You know what I mean? I'm with you. But we've been taught to do that. We've been taught to always look for a way to resolve. And I think sometimes when it comes to that, I think we have taken on a lot of unnecessary damage, you know what I mean? Right. That we shouldn't have taken. Because in a lot of cases, you find out people who you resolve situations with,
their pattern of love is different still for you.
Mhm.
You know, it's still not consistent. You know, when you're operating on the love of the Most High, where He desires it, you're able to filter out who's not right. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That should be in your life. That shouldn't be in your life.
Okay.
And a lot of times we've come to a point where we have dealt with unnecessary relationships for quite a long time,
Right.
when we should have gotten to the point of removing them long ago.
Mhm.
And I think oftentimes, you know, because black folk, we so emotional. We so emotional to a point to where we get out of balance
Right.
and we don't see things clearly. And we don't want to cut away people that should be cut away or removed. And we let them continue to deal in our lives a lot of times, when the answer is pretty much there.
Right.
You know, it's
Much.
pretty much there. They need to be removed. Now, I've seen people remove people to where they probably should have been in their lives a little bit more.
Right.
You know, it happens. It happens. Because, and I'll give you a scenario of how it happens. You know, black folk don't like listening to good wisdom.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And they had necessarily hurt you in a way that the other person did. You just reject the wisdom. And you call that being too much in your business, or somebody telling you what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And in reality, these people should have probably been in your life a little bit longer. The ones that come by ever so often in your life that's like that. We remove them.
Mm-hmm.
So I see it from both perspectives. I'm fortunate to have a brother like you, you know, in my life. I know who should be retained in my life, because everything that you give is great wisdom. I do it vice versa.
Right.
And that's how that's building.
Exactly.
But from a standpoint, which one of my brothers we're gonna have on the show soon, I talked to him, Brother Dana. You know, in the 5% Nation, you know, we have understanding of what it is to build,
mm-hmm.
and also what it is to destroy.
Right.
You destroy anything that doesn't want to build or doesn't have progress.
Correct.
You know, in the positive realms of your life. And the thing about a lot of our people, we destroy unnecessarily,
mm-hmm.
you know, things, and we just leave casualties everywhere.
Right.
You know, with our mouths, and because we pissed off or angry or whatever.
Right.
But there's a time to build with individuals, and you should know by their fruit who they are. You should build with.
Right.
But you should also destroy that which has other agendas,
mm-hmm.
you know, that's not a part of the team building.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to learn to decipher which of the two and when to do it.
Correct.
We have to.
I'm with you. Hey, I like that. I like that. Man, you had said something just a minute ago. That was pretty good. When it comes to like the how you grab something and you be able to collaborate with that person and make it positive.
Mm-hmm.
The building, the collaborating, the positive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I like that because man, you know what's so crazy is it's like it's so unique. Even if you like say, if you see like 5 or 10 black men build together, like people will be in awe of seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, like those black men got it together. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's rare for a lot of people to see that. Like I remember, like me and my friends, you know, we was together in college and things like that, and we all well put together. Like it blows their mind when they saw that, for a lot of black men together and they all together mm-hmm. up here. You know what I'm saying? It threw them off. Mm-hmm. They didn't know how to take that. They did not know how to take that, and I wish we can get back to that, because it seems like now society is kind of going that way, to where they're pulling our young kids, and you said this as well, when it comes to the wisdom. Like nowadays, these kids don't want to take the wisdom of the elders. They have this, you know, I am my own person thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we gotta wipe this away, society. It's promoted too much on television, it's too much on social media. We got to get rid of this out of our kids' lives. We are in our kids' lives to give them a blueprint.
Right.
They don't supposed to make their own blueprint because they don't know no better. We've lived it, so we the one create the blueprint, not our kids create their blueprint. We create them a blueprint, and then they can modify as they go. But it isn't no place or no sense of them to just eliminate the whole blueprint.
Right.
We sacrifice ourselves to work to create the blueprint. And that's one thing, it hurts me to see that most of the other ethnic groups, their kids kind of follow their blueprint. Not all the time, but most of the time. And they follow those blueprints where we have to fight to get our kids to that blueprint after we have constructed it from ourselves. They want to have that, I can do stuff on my own, I'm my own person mess, We got to get rid of that overall in society with our kids' mindset. I want to say when it comes to necessary to develop solutions, I say one of the biggest things I would say that as men, as men and women, we need to work more on is finding resolutions and maintaining resolutions within our marriages. Even if it's a turn resolution where you can create your own system of how to keep yourself together and to find complacency and peace with yourself to work through things through adversity situations in your marriage. Because a marriage is probably, to me, I feel like it's the hardest thing a person would ever do and maintain. Harder than buying a house, harder than getting a job. I feel like it's the hardest. So if you get a marriage, unless you're like getting beat on or about to get killed, you know what I'm saying, or is it dangerous in that way? Find ways to work on it by any means necessary and by every means necessary. Like I said, sometimes you can collaborate and come to resolutions. Sometimes you have to single yourself and come up with your own resolutions to sustain and maintain and build with what you got. Because I am a strong believer of consistency and persistency, to where if you develop those things, no matter how hard the road is, you're still on that road. You know what I'm saying? You're still in that road, you're still riding. You ain't derailed off and fell off a cliff. You're still on that road. So ride it, When it comes to time to remove people out of your life, like I said earlier, life threatening, when people are fully taking advantage of you to where it's more you're giving than you're getting. If there is no equal contribution, and it don't have to be like give some money, but like I said, wisdom, knowledge, resources, and things like that. Or even, it don't even have to be any of those things. It could be as simple as a person calling and checking up on you from day to day or week to week. Check, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing I try to pride myself when it comes to my brothers. Like, not like my blood brothers, like brothers that I'm with. Men, period. I called, like, I sent them a message, hey, just checking on you good. You good, brother, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're healthy, take care of yourself, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Because it's good to, you ain't got to always call because you have an agenda or you want something. Sometimes it's good just to check up on people just because that person needs it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody don't get called and check up on. I remember when I worked at Comcast, there's so many elder people. I used to go to their houses, and they used to tell me the stories of, like, they don't hear from nobody in days and weeks and months sometimes. They don't even hear from their own kids, and they used to break down crying to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, the little things, like just texting or calling a person just to say, you good? Cool, man. I want to call, check up on you, say, make sure you was all right. Those little things is what I look at to say, okay, I got to keep that person out of my life. But I will evaluate somebody to where if you're not checking up on me just for those little things, but yet you want me to do this, You want me to do that? You want me to come over here? You want me to do all this stuff, but you ain't doing that stuff? That's where it's like, hey, gotta put you on that list. You know, I gotta put you on that list. I gotta evaluate it because guess what happened? I'm at my prime now where I can move around and move and groove and drive and do this and stuff. But if you keep those people around that don't mean you no better and don't check up on you, when you old, it's even worse. It don't get better when you get older. They're not just gonna all of a sudden pop up and start checking up on you and being active and being helpful. They're never going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to don't force people to think they're going to change to be there in your life or think you can buy somebody to be in your life. But if you can find people that just want to be around, want to make sure you're good, want to be in your surroundings, those are people that are people that you want to find solutions when things go wrong and y'all have ups and downs. Figure them things out and work on them.
Right. Excellent. You know? Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. All right. Well, that's pretty much it. What we're going to bring forth today. And you want to give them an update on what we're looking at as far as the schedule, upcoming schedule?
Oh, yeah. Upcoming schedule. We'll be here Tuesday, but we won't be here Saturday. Me and my brother, we gotta have us some time, so we won't be here Saturday, but we will be back on schedule that following Tuesday. So this Tuesday coming up, we're good. Next Saturday, it's gonna be a off day, and then we'll follow back up with next Tuesday. Like I said, we're gonna work on other things. We're gonna start adding introduction stuff, music. We're going to, like I said, we're going to implement more comments. Like, I don't know if we had any questions or on the comments.
We had a few on here. Brother Jody Ellis. I worked with Jody for some time here in South Georgia. He put on here, I can still count on my friend Johnson. We made a friendship that will stand the test of time. And I do know, you're right, brother. I do know, and I remember that. Jody Ellis, man, you one of the greatest individuals that I've met down in this area as well. Straightforward guy, and Johnson as well. We worked together, very sharp, polished individuals. I know you had to depart and go back up north, brother. I wish people like you stood still down in this area, and I know that they still need people of your character on Fort Stewart as well. We appreciate you and appreciate your words, brother Jody. Tash. She said, marriage should not be the hardest thing. It's hard because people are usually unequally yoked. And that was her comment as well on that. But I agree with you 100%. Sister, it shouldn't be hard. You know, there are some hard aspects, you know, sometimes that will come up in it, but it's life because you're still dealing with, two different people. And I think even when you're yoked, you still have that nature side of each other that you still have to deal with in a marriage. That's just the natural side of it.
Oh yeah.
But because you're two different people, but being yoked, as you stated, being unequally yoked, as you stated, does bring hardships, and it makes a marriage very hard.
Right.
Because if both people are yoked, you know that your mindset is to be one in Christ. So I agree with you 110% there, Tash, and I appreciate your comments. She also said the phone works both ways as well, and that's when I'm assuming when she's saying that it shouldn't be one side as far as what you said earlier, that people should be communicating and it should be both ways, and it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
But we appreciate your word, Tash, and I think that's Tash. If I'm saying it incorrectly, forgive me. I'm saying Tash 1 minute, but it says Tash. I believe it's Tash. So you can get on me later about it. So forgive me if I'm wrong. But again, we'll be here this Tuesday at regular time, 6:40, 6:45 Eastern time on next Saturday night. We'll both be away. So I ask that you all just continue to support us. And like the brother said, Facebook, YouTube, and soon Instagram, I'm correct,
Instagram.
and TikTok.
Correct.
Things will be moving forth on there as well. But continue to join and support us. I love coming together with my brother here.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you, brother.
Definitely.
Outstanding time, man. I
Definitely.
appreciate
Same
that.
here, man. Same
And,
here, man.
we didn't want to keep you long this time. So again, we thank you all for tuning in. Love you all greatly. Peace.
Love y'all. Peace, man.
All right.